I'm curious
Yeah,
what you all think about
this is-
the digital guillotine movement. Do you like that idea? Do you think it's funny? Effective?
Yeah. I'm curious about that.
That shit slaps, dude. People were mad at me for saying that I was on board with it, but I love that shit. That shit, like everyone cutting people off and blocking them. To be honest, I don't want to see Kim Kardashian shit on my timeline anymore. Like, we know what you're doing. Like, I know what you're doing. I just don't want to fucking see it. You're doing rage bait. It's just like, it's the rage bait shit. Here's the deal. The thing about rage bait is it works. But the thing about digital guillotine, like where you're just cutting people off and you're blocking them, it works better because they're trying to get your attention. And if you're like, nah, I'm just going to block you. You know, like there's so many celebrities that are doing shit on purpose. Like, how many times like have we heard publicists? I don't know if it's true. This is my conspiracy theory, but people will have breakdowns or they'll have issues and they'll do crazy things in the public eye to just get attention. If you just block them, like, what are they going to do? You know, so I think that it scared the shit out of celebrities because everyone's like, this is really messed up. You know, like there's issues with it. There's purity testing. Like someone was trying to block Hassan the other day. And they were like, this guy hasn't been talking about it enough. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
That sounds like a troll to me. I don't know.
It was a whole TikTok. Someone was like, he's not joining the olive one. He's doing something else. We need to block him. I'm like, bro, what universe are we in right now? Like, we're not like, if you said free Palestine once, that's enough. Like, that's all you need to do. Just do it once. Like, you know, but when these, look, I'm going to be honest, this is a behind the scenes thing. There's a lot of fucking creators scared. There's a lot of them scared.
Oh, I bet.
And they're not saying it publicly. I'm talking to them and they're like, what do I like? It's just like white people shit when they DM me, like, what do I need to say to make these people happy? I'm like, just say free Palestine, dude. Like, but
I mean, to your point, a couple of years ago, if you were doing the same kind of stuff, people would be labeling you as a terrorist, right?
Yeah.
Or they would say that you're like anti-Semitic, or you're doing this because you hate Jewish people, or you just support Hamas or stuff like that. So that's like that it's not working anymore, which is nice, or at least it's not working as effectively.
No, and that's the thing is like you have to understand, like it's one of those things where just my existence alone is anti-Semitic. You know, like I was talking to my friend who went to he did his birthright. He did this like long post about like how birthright was like bad and all these things. But he was like, dude, I was taught that like you just saying you're Palestinian is anti-Semitic, you know? And it's like, the fuck does that have to do with anything? Also, what, like the other thing is like, okay, they're like, Muslims want us dead. I'm like, okay, I'm Christian. They're like, and then their brains would explode. They're like, wait, what? And I'm like, no, dude, like, what do you think? Dude, my mom went to fucking West Bank a month before this happened, and she was just drinking and partying. And people were like, wait, there's bars there? I'm like, yeah, there's fucking bars there. It's just normal society. So it's one of those things where like, it's just like, it's not being as effective. I mean, like I still have people that I'm trying not to dox myself, but I was in school. I was in a graduate program, and there was a dude in the program who went around and told people, I didn't meet him. I didn't talk to him, nothing of the sort, but told people we hate each other. Okay. Cause he was Jewish. I think he just had done birthright. And I was like, and I didn't know him. I'm like, why do we hate each other? And someone's like, you don't want him to exist. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're like, well, you're Palestinian. I never even engaged with this guy. I think I talked to him and invited him to go to Lebanon one time. And I was like, dude, the clubs in Lebanon slap, you know, like who cares if you're Jewish or whatever? I didn't fucking think of it, you know? And then he was like, this guy wants me dead, blah, blah. That's how bad it was. That was like 8-9 years ago. That's how bad it was. Dating myself right now. But that was like, 8-9 years ago. That's how bad it was, where just my existence alone was anti-Semitic. And now it's like, people get it. You know, people are like, oh, I understand what's going on. This is bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, you know that it's bad when, you know, I understand that like the creators are afraid and they fight the fear, but like celebrities won't even speak out. Like you have it. And I think that the whole part of the digital guillotine thing that I really like is it's kind of influenced me in the sense that I'm rethinking celebrities that I like. Like I always thought that Pedro Pascal was really cool. He's very pro-LGBTQ.
He is. No, stop talking. Stop.
I don't about Palestine. And I'm like, I know he knows. Why hasn't he said anything? Taylor Swift, she's been doing private fundraisers. She hasn't said shit. And it's just like, man, like why at this moment in time, I get that you are putting your neck on the line, your career on the line if you say something, but how could you not? Like 20 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to look back and think, man, that is embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed that I didn't do anything, that I didn't say anything. And so to me, I feel like there's really no excuse. And I want people to feel the pressure. I want these creators to feel the pressure because they should feel the pressure. Like, we're witnessing a genocide. And if you can't speak out and condemn that and even do the bare minimum, as you said, like just say free Palestine, if you can't do that, I have to reevaluate you. Maybe we're not cool anymore. Maybe we're not on the same side.
There's two things that I like touch on what you just said is that, like, as a Palestinian person, I used to watch movies. Like, I'm a big movie buff, right? And knowing that when I'm watching the movies, like, I'd watch a movie with Gal Gadot, and I'm like, this motherfucker wants me dead, you know? And there was a time where there was not a single celebrity that I could watch because not a single celebrity was pro-Palestinian. Not a single fucking one of them. Like, when people talk about boycotts and doing that shit, what the fuck was I going to boycott? The entire United States government? You know? Yeah. So now it's like one of those things where I always reassess in my brain, and I think about this all the time. And it's not just about Palestine. It's about every movement in the United States, like the trans movement, all these different movements, BLM. Like, what would I do if I was in Nazi Germany at the time that they were doing that shit? How would I act? You know, people got to ask themselves that question. And it's happening right now. And you're seeing how people acted. And if people, like, they telescope history where they think history is some different thing than it is now, like this is grand, beautiful thing where, like, there was people, like, all the Americans were anti-hate. That's not how it fucking worked. It probably happened the same as today. And human beings are very predictable. We have the exact same, animal. We're the same animal. Yep. They think
there was famously a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. And like, Charlie Chaplin made the movie The Great Dictator, but didn't know the atrocities of what happened during World War II or during the Hitler's reign. So it was like, if I had known that, I wouldn't have made that movie. That was like one of the things that he had said. So there was, sorry, go Lance.
What I was going to say, it also gives people the ability to try and separate themselves from how fucked up their own countries are, right? Because, like, I don't think a lot of people know that Hitler actually modeled a lot of their systems that they used in the Holocaust off some of the residential systems that the indigenous people were suffering by in Canada, and, like, saw that and saw how effective they were, and we're like, let's do that, let's do these horrifying things. Like, we often like to separate ourselves and think that the bad guys were the Nazis in World War II, they were defeated, and that defeated Nazism, and that, it's over, and we've moved on, and now we won't repeat the same mistakes because Nazis don't exist anymore. But it's like we're the exact same animals, right? We do the same shit just over and over to different groups, different people. We, like, the same points today being said towards trans people were the same arguments being used towards gay people, right? They're pedophiles, they're a danger to kids, they're coming for you, all that kind of, it's just recycled. It's the same bigotry over and over again.
I had a friend who was very homophobic, and it took me 10 years to finally convince him. And you know what he said? He's like, you were right. But trans people, they're the weird ones.
I've moved on.
I've applied the same lesson.
You just replaced one with the other.
Yeah. No homo, by the way. Hey, no homo, okay? But
yeah.
They're okay. They're cool.
God.
Cool, right?
I was like, shit, all right, bro. I'm like, I can't. I'm not doing another 10 years of this shit. Just a
decade for you to be cool.
I was like, I'm not doing it again, dog. But that's the whole thing. Is it goes in a cycle, and it's like one of those things where it's like the Nazis just didn't go anywhere. They just went to the fucking corners of the internet and Trump rallies and shit. Like, they're still here. So that's the thing about this is that it is gross. Like, one thing that really fucking grosses me out is how I think I met you, Lance, like at the beginning of this stuff, right? How long I've been bitching and how many people were like this in the regular content creator space were like this. And these same people, when the trans movement was happening, they were like, yeah, fuck yeah, trans people, we're on your side, we're fucking down for the cause, blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but like this Gaza stuff, and they're like, it's really complicated. There's like a lot of history. Complicated. I don't really have the tools to just like. It's not complicated. You see that there's children being blown up. It doesn't matter who's blowing them up. Just stop it. Let's just like ceasefire. Like, how about we'll start there, And now it's like a lot of people are starting to understand that, like, obviously a ceasefire isn't enough. It really isn't, because what it's going to end up doing, they're going to do the same shit that they've done to us for 20 years. Now they're doing it in fucking Jenin, right? They're invading in Jenin. I've got cousins in the West Bank. My editor was in Gaza. So it's one of those things where it's not going to stop. However, we have the pressure now, and I don't think we're ever really going to get this much eyes on us in the future. So this is the time for this shit to end. This is the apartheid South Africa stuff that needs to end, you know? So, you know, and there's a lot of things, like even in the Arab community, man, like I've been in the community, a lot of people wanted a 2-state solution. And now you see a lot of them, they're like, no, that's not going to happen. Like we need 1 state. They were like, where do you go? Like when they went to Palestine, they're like, what's the 2-state? You're going to drive between, like you have to drive between a road to another road. And then you're going through Israel to get out. Like, they're like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking insane.